Hello friends, in this tutorial we will learn how to create an item lister in JavaScript. So when I type in an item in this input box and click on this submit button, then the item should appear in this list. So let's get started. First, I will refer to this input box and store it in a variable. Let input box. Now I have not used any ID or class with this input box, so I can refer this element using query selector. Okay, so input and the type will be text. Okay, so let's expand this. Okay, so let's console log and check what does it contains. Okay, yes, it contains the input element. Okay, so comment it out again. Now we will do the same thing with submit button. Okay, so let submit button document dot query selector here button. Okay, and we can even change their properties, like if I want to add a placeholder, so all I will do this input box dot placeholder, enter new item here. So as I save this, it appears in this input box. Next, with submit button, if I want to change the text of the submit button, so I will use the text content property of this submit button and I will change its text to add item. Okay, now I will refer to this list. Okay, so let's create a variable called list, and I have used this ID called list, which is associated with this UL element. Okay, so now I can refer this with get element by ID. So here list. Okay, now let's console log and see what does this list contains, and if we check it here, yes, this is what we want. Okay, so our next step will be, now since we have this list, we will create a text item. Okay, so for that we will need to create a text node. So create text node, text. Okay, so document dot there's a method called create text node, which is used to create the text node. So I would pass here new item. Okay, now this text node is stored in this txt text variable, and the next thing we will do is we will create a list element. So create element, let list item document. So create an element, we have method called create element. Okay, since we want to create a list item, so we will pass li. Okay, so it will create an element and will store it list item. Now we want to do something like this, li which stores this new item and li. Okay, so we want this element. So what we will do, we will append this text to this list item. Okay, so append the text node to list item or list node. Okay, so for this we have a method called append child, and we will pass the text, okay, which contains this text node. And now if we console log this list item, it should display this element. Okay, yes, here it is. So the final step is that we need to append the same, we need to do the same thing with this list item. In short, we will append this list item to list, an order list. Okay, so list dot append child, and we will pass this list item. Okay, so as you can see, when I save this, the new item which we passed here was added to the list. Okay, so to make it more dynamic, we will pass the input box value. Okay, so right now this is empty, so it looks very weird. So we will create a function and we'll put this code in that function. Okay, so let's create a function add new item. Okay, and we'll paste the code here. Okay, and now we will add an event listener to the submit button. So submit button will have an event listener to the event called click, and this will invoke the add new item function. Okay, so now when I click on this button, the text in this input box should be cleared. So what we can do is clear text in input box. So all we need to do is just set its value to null. So input box dot value, and here it is. So let's try. If I type in mango and add to and click on this button, yes, it appears. Let's again add a new item, orange, and click on this button again. So this is how we create an item lister in JavaScript. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial.